My family charged $3,200.00 to my corporate card for my brother's lavish rooftop baby shower, custom onesies, balloon walls, and all, without inviting me, claiming I'd be uncomfortable, then mocked me online as their favorite fool. I froze the card and reported the fraud, but that was only the start of their betrayal. What secrets were they hiding next? The email hit my inbox at 3:47 p.m. on a Friday, the kind of time when you're mentally halfway to a glass of Pinot Grigio at a rooftop bar in Williamsburg. Account alert. Unusual activity detected. My stomach lurched as I clicked it open, expecting a routine notification about a missed Starbucks payment or an Amazon subscription renewal. Instead, I saw a number that made my vision blur. $10,000.00. Charged to my corporate credit card from Elite Events NYC. My heart slammed against my ribs. I'm Sophia Bennett, 34, a senior risk analyst at Apex Global, one of New York City's top financial firms. I spend my days spotting red flags in multi-million-dollar portfolios, but nothing could have prepared me for the red flag waving in my own life. I stared at the screen, my sleek Manhattan office suddenly feeling like a cage. This wasn't just any card, it was the company card, tied to my name, my reputation, my career. Misuse of corporate funds? That's a one-way ticket to a pink slip, maybe even a lawsuit. My fingers trembled as I logged into the Apex expense portal, praying it was a glitch. No glitch, there it was, bold as brass, $10,000.00 to Elite Events NYC, processed yesterday. I didn't know Elite Events from a hole in the wall. I hadn't authorized a conference, a client dinner, or even a team happy hour. My mind raced. Had I been hacked? Was this identity theft? I dialed the card issuer, my voice steady despite the panic bubbling inside. Miss Bennett, the charge was made in person with your PIN, the rep said, her voice maddeningly neutral. No signs of a data breach. In person, with my PIN? That's when it hit me like a subway car at full speed, the emergency card. Last year, after my dad's stroke, I'd given my mom a card linked to my corporate account. For medical emergencies only, I'd said, drilling it into her. Hospital bills, urgent prescriptions, life or met stuff, not a $10,000.00 party planner. My gut twisted as I opened Instagram, almost on autopilot. My brother Ethan's profile was the first to pop up, and there it was, a carousel of photos from a baby shower that looked like it belonged on a Bravo reality show. A yacht on the Hudson River, glittering with string lights, a live band jamming under a neon sign screaming "Baby Carter," aerial dancers twirling above a caviar bar, and Ethan, 31, grinning ear to ear next to his pregnant wife Chloe, a social media influencer with a knack for turning every moment into a brand deal. I scrolled, my breath catching. Guests in designer outfits sipped from a champagne tower, a 5-tier cake dripped with gold leaf, custom baby swag, monogrammed onesies, crystal pacifiers, spilled from gift bags. My colleagues from Apex were there, clinking glasses, tagged in the posts. But me? Nowhere. Not a single photo, not a mention, not even a "wish you were here" comment. I hadn't been invited, yet my card had footed the bill. The betrayal hit like a sucker punch. My family, my own flesh and blood, had used my corporate card, risked my career, and didn't even think to include me in the party I'd unknowingly paid for. Why? Why would they do this? What secret deal had they cooked up to justify stabbing me in the back? I leaned back in my chair, the city skyline blurring through my office window. To understand why this cut so deep, you need to know my story. I've always been the family's financial anchor. Growing up in a modest Long Island suburb, I watched my parents, David and Karen, work hard. Dad at a logistics firm, Mom running a small Etsy shop for handmade scarves. They were solid until the 2008 recession obliterated their savings. Dad's company downsized. Mom's shop tanked when people stopped buying non-essentials. Their dream home, the one they'd poured their hearts into, was weeks from foreclosure. I was 27, fresh out of Columbia with a master's in finance, just starting at Apex, but I stepped up. I restructured their $150,000 0 cents debt, negotiated with the bank, and paid $2,000 0 cents a month from my own savings to keep them. It wasn't easy. Ramen dinners and secondhand suits became my life, but I did it because family helps family, right? Then there's Ethan, my little brother, 2 years younger but a universe apart. Charismatic, reckless, the kind of guy who could charm a room but never follow through. He started at NYU, dreaming of being the next big indie musician, but dropped out senior year with $60,000, 0 cents, in student loans and no degree. Guess who bailed him out? Me. I paid $50,000, 0 cents of his debt, setting up a payment plan so he wouldn't drown in interest. I told myself it was a one-time thing, that he'd grow up. But Ethan never did. He bounced from gig to gig, always with a new excuse, always with Mom and Dad's blessing. They called him free-spirited, their golden boy, while I was the workaholic who never had time for family. My achievements, landing a senior role at Apex, buying my own Tribeca apartment, came with backhanded compliments. Sophia's so successful, but she's married to her job. Sophia's got money, but no life. It stung, but I brushed it off. That's just family, I thought. 3 years ago, Ethan met Chloe at a Coachella after-party. She was an influencer, all curated feeds and sponsored posts, with a smile that screamed brand ambassador. They got engaged in 6 months, throwing a $100,000 0 cents wedding in the Hamptons. They asked me to chip in for the venue. Just a little help, Ethan said. That little help turned into me covering $20,000 0 cents for a beachfront estate. I told myself it was a wedding gift, a way to support their new life. But their life? It was a highlight reel they couldn't afford. A Soho loft with floor-to-ceiling windows, a leased Tesla they could barely make payments on, trips to Tulum and Aspen splashed across Chloe's Instagram with hashtags like Blessed Life. Ethan worked sporadic DJ gigs. Chloe's career was unboxing PR packages. Yet they lived like A-listers, always with a handout. Just a loan, Soph, Ethan would say. Car payments late, need help with rent. I gave in too often, until I didn't. Last year, I started saying no. When they wanted $15,000 0 cents for a Maldives trip, I shut it down. You can't afford it, I said. Ethan called me selfish, said I was hoarding my wealth. When they asked me to co-sign a $500,000 0 cents condo in Dumbo, I offered to help them find a starter home instead. Chloe rolled her eyes. Ethan accused me of controlling their dreams. Mom and Dad piled on. You're doing so well, Sophia, Mom said. Why can't you share? Dad's favorite line, family supports family. I suggested they see a financial planner. Ethan laughed, called me judgy. The tension simmered, but I thought we'd reached an understanding. I'd help in true emergencies, not fund their Instagram aesthetic. Then came the baby news. Ethan and Chloe were expecting and the family went wild. Mom started planning a $5,000 0 cents gender reveal fireworks, a drone show, the works. Dad talked about turning their guest room into a nursery with a $3,000 0 cents crib. I was happy for them, genuinely. I opened a $7,500 0 cents college fund for the baby, thinking it was a meaningful gift. Chloe's response? That's practical. Ethan texted later. Thanks, but we need stuff now, like a Bugaboo stroller. Mom called, hinting I should have splurged on the $2,000 0 cents bassinet they'd pinned on Pinterest. I held firm. No more handouts for luxury. I thought that was the end of it. I was so wrong. Back in my office, the Instagram photos burned into my retinas. I clicked through Chloe's stories, each one a dagger. A celebrity DJ spinning tracks, guests posing with custom cocktails named Baby Carter's Bash, a balloon arch spelling out Future Star in gold. My colleagues, people I'd mentored at Apex, were tagged, laughing, oblivious that I'd paid for their night. I checked my texts, my email, my mailbox. No invitation, not a whisper. I called my cousin Jake, who'd posted a boomerang of the yacht's dance floor. "Soph, it was epic," he said. "Chloe's sister planned it. Didn't you get an invite? I figured you were slammed with work." I swallowed hard. "No invite, Jake, but Mom told everyone I sponsored it." Silence, then, "That's messed up. She bragged about your generosity all night." I hung up, my hands shaking. They'd used my card, thrown a party fit for a Kardashian, and let people think I'd willingly bankrolled it, all while cutting me out. The audacity was staggering. But how? How did they get my PIN? What else had they charged? I called the card company again, demanding a full transaction history. The rep's voice tightened. "Ms. Bennett, there are additional charges, totaling $15,000, 0 cents. My world tilted. $5,000, 0 cents to a celebrity DJ, $3,000, 0 cents for a caviar and oyster bar, $2,000, 0 cents for custom baby swag, $1,500, 0 cents for a live band, $3,500, 0 cents for aerial dancers, and a yacht rental deposit. All processed in person, all with my PIN, all between April 10 and 12, the weekend of the shower. I felt sick. This wasn't just a party, it was a calculated heist. My family had risked my career, my entire life, for a night of clout, and they'd done it knowing I could lose everything. Apex compliance team was ruthless. I'd seen analysts fired for less, a $500, 0 cents accidental dinner charge, a $1,000, 0 cents mistaken flight, a $15,000, 0 cents unauthorized party. That was career suicide. My boss, Vanessa, had already emailed, "Sophia, we need to discuss your expense report. Urgent." I could picture her, arms crossed, ready to tear me apart. My promotion to chief risk officer, the one I'd been gunning for, was slipping away. And worse, what if this went public? Apex clients trusted me with their billions. A scandal like this could tank my reputation. I closed my laptop, my breath ragged. I needed answers. I called Mom first, my voice ice cold. "Why is there a $15,000, 0 cents charge on my corporate card for Ethan's baby shower?" She paused, then laughed. "Like it was no big deal. Oh, honey, we needed it for the baby. You wouldn't mind its family." I gripped the phone. "You used my work card. I could lose my job." Her tone shifted. "Defense, we thought you'd be uncomfortable at the shower. All that baby talk, and you're, single, no kids. We didn't want you to feel awkward." I was floored. My own mother thought I'd be traumatized by a baby shower at 34 because I wasn't married? "And the PIN?" I pressed. "How'd you get it?" She hemmed. "You gave it to me last year for Dad's hospital bills." That was a lie. I'd never shared my PIN. I'd given her the card, yes, but the PIN? No way. Had she snooped through my apartment, watched me enter it somewhere? The violation was dizzying. I called Dad next, hoping for sanity. "Soph, Ethan's starting a family," he said, like that explained everything. "We wanted it to be special." "You're doing so well, we figured you could handle it," I snapped. "This isn't handling it, this is theft. And you didn't invite me." He sighed. "That was Chloe's call. She said you two don't vibe, that you're too critical, and, well, we've used the card before. Small stuff. The crib, some prenatal spa days for Chloe. My blood ran cold. Before, I whispered. Yeah, he said, casual as ever. Nothing big till the shower. They'd been siphoning money for months, maybe years, and I'd had no clue. I hung up, my hands numb. Ethan was last. I texted, not trusting my voice. We need to talk about the $15,000 0 cents you charged to my card. His reply was instant. Venomous. Wow, making it about you, huh? Mom said you were cool with it. Why you gotta ruin everything? I typed back. You used my work card. I wasn't invited. That's theft. His response was a gut punch. We didn't want your negativity there. You're just jealous 'cause I've got a family and you're alone. Fix this or you'll never meet your nephew. I stared at the screen, his words searing. Jealous? Of his debt-fueled fake glam life? Of a family that saw me as an ATM? The rage was blinding, but beneath it, hurt pulsed. I'd given them everything, money, time, love, and they'd repaid me with this. Then, as if the day couldn't get worse, my phone buzzed with a notification. Chloe had tagged me in a TikTok. I opened it and my stomach dropped. A montage of the yacht party, set to a trending song, with text overlay, funded by our favorite ATM. Some people don't get family, but their cards sure do. Baby Carter, family first. It had 50,000 views and climbing. Comments poured in. Savage. Get that bag. My colleagues had seen it. Vanessa had seen it. The public humiliation was complete. I sat there, alone in my office, the city's hum fading to static. Tears came, hot and unstoppable. Had my family ever loved me or just my bank account? Why had I let them use me for so long? I'd built a career saving others from financial ruin, but I'd failed to save myself. My phone buzzed. Vanessa again. Meeting Monday, 9 a.m. Bring documentation. I knew what that meant. Compliance was circling. I could lose my job, my reputation, everything. And Ethan's threat echoed. Embarrassing details. What did he have? Old texts? Private emails? Something I'd forgotten? The blackmail chilled me. What else were they capable of? I called my best friend, Mia, my voice breaking. They did what? She gasped. Soph, that's fraud. Family or not, they stole from you. Her validation was a lifeline. She'd warned me for years about Ethan's leeching, but I'd defended him, always. Now, I couldn't. And Chloe's TikTok, Mia said. That's public shaming. You need a lawyer, and you need to freeze that card now. She was right. I called the card company, filing a fraud claim, my voice shaking but resolute. Then I blocked Ethan and Chloe on everything. Instagram, TikTok, phone. But the damage was done. The TikTok was viral, racking up 100,000 views. My inbox filled with messages from relatives, egged on by Mom's sob story. Sophia's abandoning Ethan during his happiest moment. Monday loomed, and with it the meeting that could end my career. Vanessa's email was clipped, corporate speak for "you're in trouble." I spent the weekend digging through bank statements, emails, anything to prove I hadn't authorized the charges, but the pin haunted me. How had they gotten it? Had Mom rifled through my desk during a visit? Had Ethan watched me at an ATM? The betrayal wasn't just financial, it was personal, invasive, and Chloe's TikTok kept spreading, now at 200,000 views. Co-workers whispered in the break room. A major client, Mr. Callahan, emailed. Sophia, I saw a disturbing post online. We need to discuss your reliability. My $2.00 M account was at risk. Everything I'd worked for was unraveling. Then, Sunday night, a knock at my door. I opened it to find Mom, unannounced, mascara streaked. How could you report us? She sobbed. Ethan's baby is coming and you're destroying us over... I stepped back, heart pounding. You stole from my company, I said. You risked my job." She grabbed my arm, her voice rising. "You have money, why can't you help?" Neighbors peered out. I pulled her inside, but she wouldn't stop. "You're tearing us apart," she screamed. The doorman called up, asking if I needed security. I said no, but the fear was real. What if she refused to leave? What if Ethan showed up next? I got her out, but the confrontation left me raw. I called Mia again, who rushed over with Thai takeout and fierce loyalty. "Sophia, this isn't just family drama," she said. "They're gaslighting. You're not the villain here." She helped me draft an email to Vanessa, explaining the fraud claim and promising full cooperation. But the stakes were high. Too high. Too high. Ethan's blackmail threat loomed. What secrets did he have? And the PIN, how far had they gone to get it? I joined an online forum, Family Financial Abuse, and posted anonymously. Strangers' stories mirrored mine. Siblings who'd drained accounts, parents who'd guilt-tripped over their kids into debt. "You're not your fault," one wrote. "They're exploiting your kindness." The support steadied me, but the questions burned. What else had they taken? How would I face Vanessa? Could I rebuild my life? As I lay awake, one thing was clear. This wasn't just about $10,000 0 cents. It was about years of being used, manipulated, and taken for granted. I'd given my family everything, and they'd repaid me with a betrayal that could cost me everything. But I wasn't done being their victim. I'd fight for my career, my dignity, my future. The question was, how far would they go to stop me, and what secrets were they hiding, waiting to explode? The weekend after Mom's meltdown at my door felt like a fever dream, each hour dragging me deeper into a nightmare I couldn't wake from. I'm Sophia Bennett, 34, a senior risk analyst at Apex Global in New York City, and my life was unraveling. A $15,000 0 cents charge on my corporate credit card, racked up by my family for my brother Ethan's lavish baby shower, had put my career on the line. Worse, they hadn't invited me to the yacht party I'd unknowingly funded, and now Chloe, Ethan's influencer wife, was dragging me through the mud with a viral TikTok, calling me their favorite ATM. The post had 200,000 views, my colleagues were whispering, and my boss, Vanessa, was circling like a shark. Monday's meeting loomed, and I had no idea how to save myself. But the real gut punch, Ethan's threat to leak embarrassing secrets. What did he have on me? And how had they gotten my PIN? The questions gnawed at me as I sat in my Tribeca apartment, staring at the city lights, wondering if my family had ever seen me as more than a bank. I barely slept, my mind cycling through every interaction with Ethan, Mom, and Dad. Had I missed something? A glance, a comment, a moment when they'd planned this betrayal? I pored over bank statements, searching for clues. The card company had confirmed $15,000 0 cents in charges, but Dad's casual admission that they'd used the card before for nursery furniture and spa days chilled me. How much had they taken, and how far would they go to cover it up? I called Mia, my best friend, who'd been my rock through this mess. "Soph, you need a lawyer," she said, her voice firm over the phone. "This isn't just family drama, it's fraud, and they're escalating." She was right. I found Laura Mitchell, a financial dispute attorney online. Her website promised aggressive representation, and her reviews glowed. I booked a consultation for Monday afternoon, praying she could help me navigate the legal minefield. But first I had to survive Vanessa's meeting. At 9 a.m., I walked into Apex's glass-walled conference room, my heart pounding. Vanessa sat at the head, her expression unreadable, flanked by 2 compliance officers I'd never met. The air was thick with corporate menace. "Sophia," Vanessa began, "a $15,000 0 cents charge on your corporate card has raised serious concerns." I'd prepped a folder, bank statements, my fraud claim, screenshots of Chloe's TikTok. but my voice still shook as I spoke. My family used my emergency card without authorization. I've filed a fraud claim and frozen the account. The compliance officer, a stern woman named Diane, leaned forward. You gave them the card, and the PIN was used. How do we know this wasn't intentional? I felt the room shrink. I gave it for medical emergencies only, after my dad's stroke. I never shared the PIN. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. Your social media presence isn't helping. That TikTok. It's a PR nightmare. Clients are asking questions. I swallowed hard. Mr. Callahan, my biggest client, had already emailed about my reliability. His $2 million 0 cents account was teetering, and others could follow. I'm handling it, I said, forcing confidence. The card company's investigating, and I'm pursuing legal action. Diane scribbled notes, her pen scratching like a death knell. We'll need full documentation, she said. And you're on probation until this is resolved. One more misstep, and you're out probation. The word hit like a slap. My promotion to chief risk officer, the one I'd poured my soul into, was slipping away. Vanessa dismissed me, her voice cold. Fix this, Sophia. Fast. I left the room, my legs wobbling, and ducked into the bathroom to splash water on my face. My reflection looked haunted. Dark circles, tight jaw. I'd built my career on trust, and now my own family was torching it. My phone buzzed, a text from Ethan. You reported us? You're ruining our lives. Fix this or I make sure everyone at Apex knows your dirty little secrets. My pulse spiked. What old emails? A bad breakup? Something fabricated? I blocked his number, but the threat lingered like a shadow. I needed answers, and I needed them now. Laura Mitchell's office was a sleek midtown suite, all chrome and glass. She was sharp, mid-40-esque, with a no-nonsense vibe that put me at ease. I laid out everything, the charges, the TikTok, Ethan's threat, Mom's confrontation. Laura's pen flew across her notepad. This is textbook financial fraud, she said. Your family's actions, using the card without consent, misrepresenting your involvement, are actionable. You have two paths, criminal charges, which could mean jail time, or a civil suit to recover funds and damages. Jail time? The thought made my stomach churn. I couldn't imagine Mom in handcuffs, even after everything. I just want them to stop, I said, and to pay me back. Laura nodded. We'll start with the demand letter. $15,000, 0 cents repayment within 30 days. Or we escalate. But brace yourself. They'll fight dirty. She wasn't kidding. The letter went out Tuesday morning, certified mail to Mom, Dad, Ethan, and Chloe. By noon, my phone exploded. Mom left voicemails sobbing. How could you sue your own family? You're breaking my heart. Dad texted paragraphs about disappointment and family unity. Relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, cousins, aunts, even my great-uncle in Jersey, called, guilt-tripping me to forgive and forget. Aunt Linda's voice was shrill. Blood is thicker than water, Sophia. Don't tear us apart over money. I saved every message, every text, as Laura had advised. Evidence, she'd said. You'll need it. But the worst came that night. I was heating leftovers when my buzzer rang. Who is it? I asked, cautious after Mom's unannounced visit. It's Ethan. My heart stopped. I hadn't seen him face to face since Christmas, when he'd asked for a loan for Chloe's Chanel bag. What do you want? I said through the intercom. Let me in, Soph. We need to talk. His voice was low, angry. Against my better judgment, I buzzed him up, keeping the chain on the door. He stood in the hallway, eyes bloodshot, hair disheveled. You're killing us, he spat. The vendors are after us because of your fraud claim. Chloe's a mess. She might lose the baby from stress. Fix this. I gripped the doorframe. You stole from me, Ethan. You used my work card. He stepped closer, his face inches from the chain. "You think you're so perfect, huh? Miss Big Shot Analyst. I know things about you. Things Apex wouldn't like." Slammed the door, my hands shaking, and called building security. They escorted him out, but his words echoed. What did he know? And how far would he go? I couldn't face this alone anymore. Mia had mentioned a therapist, Dr. Emily Harper, who specialized in family dynamics. I booked a session for Wednesday, desperate for clarity. Dr. Harper's office was a cozy contrast to Laura's. Soft lighting, a worn leather couch. I poured out the story, my voice breaking as I described Ethan's threat, Mom's gaslighting, the tick-tock. "You're grieving," Dr. Harper said gently. "Not just the money, but the family you thought you had." Her words hit hard. I'd always seen myself as the strong one, the fixer. But now I felt broken, betrayed by the people I'd loved most. "They're using your kindness as a weapon," she said. "Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival." She gave me grounding exercises, deep breathing, journaling, to manage the panic attacks that had started creeping in. I left feeling lighter, but the storm was far from over. Thursday brought a new blow. Chloe's TikTok had hit 500,000 views, and she'd posted a follow-up, a tearful video, mascara running, claiming I'd abandoned her during her pregnancy. "Some people care more about money than family," she sobbed. The comments were brutal. "What a monster. Cut her off." My coworkers at Apex were buzzing, their glances darting my way in the cafeteria. I overheard one say, "Didn't think Sophia was like that." The gossip was poisoning my workplace, and Vanessa's silence was deafening. Then came the client hit. Mr. Callahan called, his tone clipped. "Sophia, this social media mess is concerning. We're reevaluating our account with Apex. I need assurance you're stable." Stable? I was fighting for my life. I promised a resolution, but his hesitation lingered. If I lost his $2 million 0 cents account, my probation would turn into... I joined an online support group, Family Financial Abuse, that night, desperate for perspective. The stories were hauntingly familiar. Siblings who'd emptied accounts, parents who'd guilted their kids into debt. One user, NYC Survivor, wrote, "Your family smear campaign is a power play. They want you to cave." Another, Broken Trust 88, shared how her brother had blackmailed her with fake photos. Blackmail. The word stuck. Was Ethan bluffing? Or did he have something real? I posted my story anonymously, and the responses flooded in, validating my pain. "You're not alone," one wrote. "They don't love you, they love your money." The words hurt, but they rang true. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't the villain. Friday, a ray of hope. My cousin Mark called, his voice hesitant. "Soph, I need to tell you something. Chloe lied to the vendors. She told them you gifted the $15,000 0 cents as a baby present. I overheard her at the shower laughing about it." My jaw dropped, laughing. They'd planned this, knowing I'd be blindsided. Mark's betrayal of their confidence was a lifeline. "I'm on your side," he said. "This isn't right." His support meant everything, a crack in the family's united front. I sent his statement to Laura, who added it to our case file. "This strengthens our position," she said. Chloe's misrepresentation could tip the scales, but the scales tipped against me first. Saturday morning, I got an email from a lawyer representing Chloe. They were threatening a defamation lawsuit, claiming my fraud claims slandered her reputation as an influencer. The letter demanded I retract the claim and pay $50,000, 0 cents in damages. $50,000? I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. They'd stolen from me and now they were suing? Laura was unfazed. "It's a scare tactic," she said. "They have no case. We'll counter with our evidence." but the pressure was crushing. My career, my savings, my sanity, everything was on the line, and Ethan's secret still haunted me. What was he planning? Sunday, another bombshell. Ethan posted a heartfelt Instagram story, a photo of him and Chloe cradling her bump, captioned, "Learning who's really there for us, thankful for true family, baby Carter." The subtext was clear. I was the enemy. The post sparked a wave of hate comments. "Your sister's trash. Protect your kid from her." Strangers were piling on, fueled by his fake apology. I wanted to scream, to post my side, but Laura stopped me. "Don't engage," she said. "It'll backfire. Let the legal process work." I followed her advice, but the silence was agony. My family was rewriting my story, and I was powerless to stop it. Monday, the card company called. After weeks of investigation, they'd ruled in my favor. All $15,000, 0 cents in charges were reversed, and Ethan and Chloe were liable. I exhaled, relief flooding me. But the victory was short-lived. Within hours, vendors started hounding Ethan, threatening collections. Mom texted, frantic, "Sophia, the vendors are after us. Chloe's in tears. It's bad for the baby. Why can't you fix this?" I didn't reply. I'd fix enough. But the backlash was fierce. Relatives started a GoFundMe for Ethan and Chloe, claiming I'd betrayed them by reneging on my gift. The campaign raised $5,000, 0 cents in a day, with comments like, "Poor Ethan, stuck with a selfish sister." The lies were suffocating, but Mark's call kept me grounded. "They're desperate," he said. "The truth's coming out." Dr. Harper's next session was a lifeline. "You're under attack," she said, "but you're not defenseless. Their chaos is their choice, not your burden." We worked on scripts to deflect family calls. Calm, firm, unapologetic. I started journaling again, pouring out the pain, the rage, the fear. One entry stood out. "Have I ever been more than their safety net?" The question hurt, but it clarified something fierce. I deserved respect, not exploitation. The support group echoed this, their stories of boundary setting inspiring me to hold fast. One user suggested a family mediation, a neutral space to confront the mess. "It's risky," they wrote, "but it might force accountability." I pitched it to Laura, who agreed. "It's a chance to set terms," she said, "but expect resistance." The mediation was set for Friday at a downtown conference center. I invited Mom, Dad, Ethan, and Chloe, with a professional mediator, Karen Jackson, to keep things civil. Surprisingly, they agreed, but the lead-up was hell. Chloe's defamation threat hung over me, and Ethan's blackmail kept me up nights. What did he have? A lie? Something real? I racked my brain, but nothing surfaced. Then, Thursday night, Mom showed up at my office. I was working late, the building quiet, when security buzzed. "Your mother's here," they said. I froze. Not again. I met her in the lobby, her face streaked with tears. "Sophia, please," she begged. "Drop the fraud claim. The vendors are ruining us. Chloe's blood pressure is spiking. She could lose the baby." I stepped back, my voice steady. "You caused this, Mom. You stole from me." She grabbed my arm, her grip tight. "You're killing us." "You're not family. You're a monster." Security intervened, escorting her out, but her words cut deep. Monster? After everything I'd given? Friday's mediation was a powder keg. Karen Jackson, the mediator, set ground rules. No interruptions, no attacks, focus on solutions. I went first, laying out the facts. $15,000, 0 cents in unauthorized charges, my exclusion, the TikTok, Ethan's threat. "This isn't just financial," I said, my voice breaking. "You betrayed my trust. I've given you everything, and you saw me as nothing but a paycheck." Mom spoke next, her voice quivering. "We should have asked, but we thought you'd want to help. We didn't invite you because Because pregnancy's hard for you, being single. I laughed, bitter. You decided my feelings? I'm 34, not fragile. Karen stepped in, calling out Mom's assumption. Dad admitted fault, sort of. We leaned on you too much, he said. But Ethan deserved this. Ethan and Chloe were defiant. You gave Mom the card, Chloe snapped. We thought it was fine. Ethan leaned in, smirking. You're blowing this up to punish us. I know why you're really mad. The implication was clear. His secret. I didn't bite. The tension snapped when Chloe spoke. You're rich, Sophia. Why do you care about $15,000, 0 cents? You're just flexing. I stood, my voice shaking with rage. You risked my career, my life, for a party. You mocked me online. You don't get to play victim. She scoffed, storming out, yelling, We'll sue you for emotional distress. You'll regret this. Ethan followed, but not before hissing. You're done, Soph. Mom and Dad stayed stunned. Karen refocused us, and we drafted terms. $5,000, 0 cents repayment from my parents. $3,000, 0 cents from Ethan and Chloe over 12 months. A written apology from each. No contact for 6 months. They signed, reluctant, but the air felt lighter. I'd stood my ground. Leaving the mediation, I felt raw but resolute. The fraud was reversed, my boundaries set, but the war wasn't over. Chloe's lawsuit threat and Ethan's secret loomed. What was it? A fabricated scandal? A real one I'd buried? I didn't know, but I'd find out. Back at Apex, Vanessa called me in. The compliance team satisfied, she said. Your probation's lifted and your promotion's back on track. I exhaled, tears pricking my eyes. Chief Risk Officer was mine. I celebrated by signing the lease on a Brooklyn penthouse, its skyline view a symbol of my new start. I started dating Michael, an architect Mia introduced me to, whose quiet strength steadied me, and for Liam, my unborn nephew. I set up a $10,000 0 cents college trust, anonymous at 18. He deserved a future, even if his parents didn't. Months later, I met Mom for coffee. She was subdued, her eyes tired. I see now, she said. It wasn't just money, it was respect. I'm sorry. I nodded, the wound still tender. Ethan and Chloe stayed distant, blaming me, but I'd made peace with their choice. My family had shown me who they were, and I'd chosen myself. The journey had been brutal, but it taught me something priceless. Kindness isn't weakness, it's a gift, and it demands respect. Have you ever had to fight for that respect? Share your story. I'm listening.